Yep, that's us. We're live. All right. All right. Let's get into this. Let's get into this. We got a lot to talk about in this live stream. See, the questions already came in anyway. So I'll get on to a few of these questions now in a sec. I just get a few people in the chat and we see how this live stream goes. We see how this live stream goes. We already got a few in the chat now. Oh, lads. What a night it was last night. What a night it was for Everton last night. It was. Oh, lads. Do you know what, right? This whole Dubois Joyce fight. I said it in my last live stream. I said it in the I've pretty much been saying that for a while now. That I've been going back and forth about this. And straight away we're in there. I want to big up MVG, Michael Van Gerwen. Man, you're doing well this weekend in the Players' Championship. That's all I'll say on that. But appreciate the super chat. Thank you, my friend. Hope Joyce leaves Frank. Frank should be it. Oh man. Fuck, man. He's Frank Warren. Like I'll bring the camera in. I had to laugh, right? Because I was watching this at a friend's house last night. I went back and watched it today, back at mine. And it's just so it's funny because Warren, you can tell, is just so sick. Like when you go back over the last year, from the minute Joe Joyce signed with Queensbury, they've been trying to make this fight happen, right? So the goal has always been Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois. That's been, what they want. Okay. So for all that to happen, for all the grief, because let's remember, right? Look at the way BT Sport were behaving with Joe Joyce when he was ringside for some of Dubois fights. All right. Because they were giving him, they weren't treating him like a normal BT Sport fighter or a Queensbury fighter. They were treating him as though he was an enemy or something like that. It was weird because every single time he was there at ringside, if he was doing like just punditry or something like that, they were giving him a dog's life because they were like, when are you going to get in with Dubois? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? They were really going in on him. So no one in Queensbury, whether it be Queensbury, whether it be BT Sport, no one wanted Joe Joyce to win this fight because they were marketing Dubois. They really, really were backing him. So Frank Warren, he is pissed off now. And I think I even said it. I think I said it last year. I said, like, whatever happens in this Dubois Joyce fight, whether let's get comfy there, whether Dubois wins or whether Joyce wins or loses, he should leave Frank Warren. Not because Warren is maybe a bad promoter or anything like that. He's not a great promoter, it has to be said. Appreciate the super chat, by the way, MVG. But the way he's been treating Joe Joyce, like just talking down to him, really, it's almost as if Warren is looking at Joe Joyce. Like pretty much this is what he did. He brought Joe Joyce in thinking, right, I've got the next best thing here in the, up and coming heavyweights. I'm going to bring Joe Joyce in, chuck him on a few fights, let Dubois beat him. And then that's the end of that. I can just chuck Joe Joyce away. But instead what happened is Joe Joyce beat up Daniel Dubois. It wasn't a great fight now, to be honest with you. I mean, I was hyped for the first round. And after that, I was kind of like, oh, this might get cagey. This might be cagey. And then I know it was just, it wasn't a great fight. For me, Joyce was winning. The fight. And as I said, like in my video I done today, it was funny because all my friends I watched it with, all right, they're all casuals, right? Every single one of them, they're all casuals. And they were looking at Joe Joyce and they kept on saying, they were like, he looks terrible. Like Dubois looks good. He's just jab, he's hitting him. Like, yeah, but you need to understand that's how Joe Joyce fights. I said, I know he looks terrible. I know he looks all over the place. I know he looks ungainly. But man, that's just the way Joe Joyce fights. And I guess it's kind of with me on this channel, right? I said it in my last live stream I did, that I don't like going back on predictions unless I really, 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 really see something that, changes. And you could tell by everything I was saying that I was really, I'm not going to say, obviously I didn't pick Joe Joyce to win, but you could tell I was regretting doing that prediction video last week where I predicted Dubois. You could tell that because I rewatched a lot of Joe Joyce's fights and I was rewatching some of Dubois' fights and I was like, shit. I was like, shit. I knew I was like, I did. I was like, I knew I backed the wrong horse, but like, I'm the sort of guy where I won't just, I don't know what it is, but I'm just like, well, fuck it. I've said it now, so I'll stick with it. And I was this close on Thursday evening to making another video, another like just prediction video saying, yeah, I was wrong, but I didn't, and man, fucked up. Boxing fans are the worst part of boxing. And big up to Big Dan, by the way. You have these idiots acting like it's unacceptable. Look at the UFC, no big deal. Made from fans. Someone quits because it's not worth further injury. Yeah, Dan, I know it's fucking. It's crazy because at the end of the day, like the guy, and you know what's funny, right? I've seen some guys on Twitter already, and they're coming out like, and these would be kind of, they would be boxing fans, but they'd be real like trolls in terms of like kind of some of the stuff they'd say, and some of them admit they're trolls, and they're just like, fuck, he's no hard, he quit, he did it, blah 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 blah. I'm like, motherfucker, have you ever been punched? Have you ever been hit? Have you ever had that? No. So shut the fuck up. Why the lad's eye was completely shut, right? He was taking jab after jab after jab. Don't know how much those jabs would have hurt. I'm just getting myself comfy there, lads. Sorry. I don't know how much those jabs would have hurt, but the man had enough. The man, look, if his eyesight is affected by that, or if it was being badly affected, and he runs the risk of having further damage, seriously, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with going like doing serious damage to your eyesight? Because I mentioned Billy Collins, that's something like that happened to him. That he ended up having really really bad injuries to his eyes. I think it was it an orbital bone or was it a retina got detached or something like that? And that fucked his whole career up. Now, obviously, that fight against Rizzo, that was there were shenanigans with the glove in that fight. Both gloves in that fight. So that wasn't really a fair, but still, the eye injury, they fucked Ray Leonard up for a bit as well, didn't it? And big up to Nick every time. Big up all hashtag G-Man's rocks. Glad you're in the stream this time. I know you've been saying in the comment section you've been missing them. I know, man. Well, at least you're in this one. I made this one nice and early so everyone could know. I made this one. A big up to Tony as well. Big up to G-Man. I want to big up actually all the guys because I actually have comments in here a lot earlier that I want to big up. So please, you had Joyce TKO and oh what? No, oh man. I don't even think we've got the prediction league results yet, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing where we all came. Guess I was wrong. Really thought your boys would be fast, explosive. In one sense, I was like, I kind of thought the same. I thought they'd come out and they'd be swinging for the fences, but they weren't. They were real cagey. I actually kind of thought, given the fact that this was, a big stage for both guys would come out and they'd be kind of swinging a bit. But no, they were real cagey. They were real cagey early on. But you could tell Joyce was comfy and Dubois wasn't. That's what I could see. Not that Dubois wasn't comfy, but you could tell that Joyce was, he was in the zone. And Joyce really, man, Joe Joyce's chin. He's called the Juggernaut for a reason. He's got a great engine, great chin. I mean, man, I wish you kind of wish he was 3 or 4 years younger, because at 35, you just kind of wonder how many years does he have? Does he have like another 5? Well, 5 years be 40. Does he have like 4 years? Can he get to world level in the next year or two? It's hard to say. And the keyboard warriors out back, yeah, yeah, man, they're idiots. But there's no other word. They're idiots. They're idiots, all those guys. They really, really are. They're absolute fools. All those keyboard warriors. They love I've often got them in the live streams the odd times. People coming out saying X, Y, and Z. It's just like, man, you're fool. You're a fool. And like the people saying Dubois this, Dubois that. Like, come on now. The man couldn't see a broken orbital bone and fucking nerve damage, and you're like, well, you only had 9 minutes left. You could have carried on. You hope you get home in time for the hashtag G-Man's Rock Show. I'm going to keep it. Let's talk about boxing. I'm not going to call it the G-Man's Rock Show. Not yet. Watson in PO, Usyk will dominate him. Oh, yeah. Like, if he fights Usyk next, he's improved Joe Joyce, to be fair, since their first fight in the WSB. Oh, that's badly needed, that water, I tell you that much. That's badly needed after last night, seriously. But yeah, no, Usyk absolutely lit Joe Joyce up. He lit Joe Joyce up. So I'd imagine something similar might happen this time. But Joyce, it's a longer format. It's longer, it's not 5 rounds. It'd be 12. I reckon Joyce would be all right. He'd last, but I'd say something similar. I'd say something similar. I'll be picking Usyk every day, by the way. Big up to G-Man. Yes, there you go. Hashtag G-Man's rocks. What's the last question? Did I see the crash in F1 today? Yeah, fuck, I did. That, do you know what, right? I've been a fan of boxing for years, been a fan of F1 for years. That crash today was the only time I think I've ever looked at something and thought, yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Thankfully, he wasn't. Thankfully, he got out. For those who don't know, there was a massive, massive crash in F1 today where the car literally split in half and caught fire. And amazingly, the driver only escaped with, I say only, escaped with a few little burns. But if you've seen it, you'd be amazed how he didn't die. Seriously. But yeah, that was a scary one. Big up to Joe Stunner. Had Dubois in 6. Great performance by Joyce. It was a great performance. It was all a dream. Yo, yo. Big up the boxing sauce. Robbie, every time. Big up to Devon Sinclair. Missed the last 2 streams, but I'm back. Yes, yes, bro. Hashtag G-Man's rocks. War Joyce. There's a fight for Joe Joyce. Remember they were trying to get Chisora. Right. Chisora, for all of his many flaws, and he has them, and he can be a bit erratic. Think of it like this, right? If anyone caught my live stream on Thursday, I had D, Mark, and a few others on. When we were talking pay cuts, right? And I said that Usyk took a $1.5 million or pound pay cut to fight Chisora. And apparently the purses originally for that fight where Usyk was to get something like 3 to 4 million and Chisora was to get like between 5 and 6 million. Imagine that, people. 5 and 6 million for Chisora. And he did take a pay cut, but he still got a couple of mil. 2 years ago, 2018, Chisora was being offered 200 and something grand, maybe even less, for 200 grand to fight Joe Joyce. And when people were like, well, why'd you turn that kind of money down? And then he fought a guy for like 20K on, I forget what undercard it was, but he fought the guy on the undercard anyway for 20K. And people were like, why'd you turn that down? He probably would have lost to Joe Joyce. And look at him now, making a couple of million, making 7 figures. It's crazy. Big up to Graham Taylor every single time. Big up to you, man. Dubois got his head jabbed off his shoulders. Yeah. Man, that jab from Joyce that jab is good. That jab's going to be a problem for the fighters moving forward. It's going to be a problem for other fighters moving forward, that jab. Because Joe Joyce, I've said this about him for the longest time as well, right? Is that Joe Joyce, although he looks ungainly, and although his punches are very slow, they're very methodical in the way he delivers them, it just, we know what we're going to get from Joe Joyce. He's effective. God almighty, the man's effective. He is effective as hell. Can't believe what happened. When he took the knee and it was voluntarily, right? I was on the couch watching that. When you see a fighter take a knee voluntarily, some of the lads were like, "Oh, that must have hurt more than it looked." I was like, "No, he's quit." I knew straight away because, like I said, all the guys were casuals, and we were all I was looking forward to this fight. They were all looking forward to Tyson Jones. Everyone looking forward to Tyson Jones except me. And the less said about that fight, the better. But yeah, I knew the minute I saw that him drop to the knee, I was like, that's it. That's it. He's done. Yo, G-Man, big up the Buzzy. Big up the Helm every time. Hashtag G-Man's rocks. Big up the Let's Go Champ. Evening G-Man. Hashtag G-Man's rocks. Bit rude. Colin. Joyce, a poor man's form. The man really has natural heavy hands and brute strength. Yeah, you'd be very hard pushed to find anyone. Well, you'd be very hard pushed to find many heavyweights with the physical strength of Joe Joyce. In my opinion, anyway. He seems juggernaut in name. Apologies, people. Just checking the camera on my end, and it's a little bit fuzzy, so I don't know why it keeps doing that. Like, I've been having so many issues with these live streams the last week. It's been fucking annoying. So whenever that does happen, I just bring it off and I'll bring it back on in 2 seconds. Frank Warren is a snake. Yeah, man. Well, I wasn't surprised, just given the fact that Warren, for the longest time, he's been just shitting him. Without shitting and pissing on him, he's been shitting and pissing on Joe Joyce. That's what Frank Warren's been doing. He was shitting and pissing on Joe Joyce. You really got the impression that he only took Joe Joyce on. And that's all I think. He just took Joe Joyce into Queensbury just so as though Dubois could have that win. That's what he wanted. He wanted that win for Dubois because he wanted to get Dubois up into the stratosphere. It didn't go that way. All right, let's try that again. It didn't go that way. You gave Dubois 4 rounds. Yeah, I think Dubois a few more rounds than just that. Give me a sec there, lads. Fuck's sake. I like having the camera on, lads, and I just don't want it getting all fuzzy. So I don't know why it keeps doing that. Could be a Wi-Fi issue. I don't know. But we'll try that one more time. If it doesn't work this time, I'm just going to leave it off. But yeah, I gave Dubois about the same. For me, no, it's still shit. All right, we'll do it with no camera. Fuck it. Yeah, for me, it was definitely Joe Joyce was winning though. For me, anyway. But G-Man, the options of Hearn, he brings heavyweights to keep them away from AJ. I reckon. Do you know what? He try and sell that fight. He try and sell Dubois or Joyce versus AJ. Olympic gold medalist versus Olympic silver medalist. I think he'd try and sell that fight. I do. I really do. I could see him trying to sell that fight real easily. Real easy. I could see him trying to sell that. Sparring partners, familiarity does breed contempt, as they say. But Eddie Hearn, well, to be fair, Joyce, before he was with Warren, he was obviously with Haymaker, and then he was with, who was he with then? He was with Al Heyman when Al Heyman tried to come to the UK. So, or Richard Shea. I think he still might work with Richard Shea from memory, if I'm not mistaken. Get your popcorn ready. Oh yeah. Oh, get your popcorn ready. Joe Joyce won on the jab alone. No, he didn't. He didn't throw many power shots at all. He really did. He really didn't. He kept it. One judge had Dubois up 7-8 joke. Someone was saying that wasn't the real scorecard though. I'll see if I can get it on BoxRec. But someone was saying that wasn't the real scorecard. That actually that was a score. That scorecard was just kind of chucked out there, and that wasn't the actual real scorecard. I'll see if I can see if BoxRec have it updated. But yeah, I think it was Ade or someone was saying that scorecard where they had they had Dubois 8 rounds up was fake. But I'll just see. No, it looks like it's pretty much real here on BoxRec. 88, 83. Yeah, that was bullshit. That was bullshit. There was no way. You see, I said that as well in the prediction that I did. I said that one of the reasons I was picking Dubois to win on points originally was because he's the new man. He is the man they want to succeed Tyson Fury as the next big heavyweight over there in BT Sport, right? So he's going to have a lot of politics. He's going to have a lot of sway with the judges. And that's exactly what I was thinking. And those scorecards, well, especially the one that had Dubois miles ahead, that showed me that they were they were going to try and give this fight to Dubois by any means. And that was a bullshit one. You had Dubois by foot. Yeah, one of the reasons why I was if you go back and look at my videos, right? Although I was going back and forth a lot, and as Nick Hammer says there, G-Man, you said you changed your mind, and I did. But one of the reasons I was going back and forth a lot on my prediction for who would win this fight. But one thing I never said was I could never really envision Dubois knocking Joe Joyce out. I said maybe with a body shot or something like that, but I couldn't really envision him actually knocking. I know Joe Joyce's chin is very good. And I just remember thinking, I can't see him knocking this guy out. And that's the way I was. I was like, I can't see him knocking that guy out. Big up to Kieran. Joyce needs to leave Martin Bowers and find a coach who can train him the fundamentals of boxing. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Of course, you got to love the hashtag G-Man's Rocks movement. You got to get that going. I have to agree. I do. I would have to agree with it, which is there. Exactly. Who would I get? Who would I be looking at? Now, Dubois strikes me as someone who wants to stay in the UK. I don't know why, but I get the impression he's a bit of a home bird. So I can't imagine that Dubois would leave the UK to go and train with someone else. But if I was to look at trainers in the UK who I believe would be a good fit for Daniel Dubois, honestly, I'm thinking Shane McGuigan. I'm thinking Shane McGuigan might not be a bad shout. I'm serious. I think Shane McGuigan might be a nice little shout for Daniel Dubois. I think that wouldn't go bad at all there. I think Shane McGuigan showed himself to be a very good trainer. I think Shane McGuigan could definitely teach him the fundamentals that he needs, because Martin Bowers, yeah, he's done all right with Dubois. I think he manages him as well, but I don't know. He just doesn't seem to be improving. He just seems to be the same old, same old, same old. And maybe someone like a Shane McGuigan might be a good job for him. Shane McGuigan, maybe look, people kind of tend to kind of go back and forth on Ben Davison, but maybe even Ben Davison, maybe even Ben Davison as well. Shane McGuigan, Ben Davison, guys like that. Seems to be the common thing now. If you leave Shane McGuigan, you go Ben Davison, or vice versa. Maybe one or the other. But they're kind of the guys I'm thinking of. Was sad to see him quit, but glad it was over. He was taking damage. You see, this is the thing, Rob. Right? Is that I don't understand when a fighter's taking all this much damage, when he's clearly got a badly injured eye, when it's clear that even if he gets through this fight and wins, it's going to take a lot out of him, and the fighter decides to quit. I don't really see why people. It'd be different, right? If he was just not doing anything, just kind of said, fuck it, I'm just tired, I give up, or something like that. Yeah, that's different. But look, at the guy was hurt. The guy's eye was shut. Everything. It just no issue with him quitting. And as you know, Dingo, big up. But you know me, I don't tend to go hard on fighters who quit too often. When have you ever seen me really, really go in hard on a fighter who's quit? I don't think I ever have on this channel. I don't think I ever have, to be honest. Don't even get me started on those Dubois is a coward. Fuck yeah. Oh man, they're idiots. Man, they're idiots. Don't mind them. Those Dubois is like, seriously, those guys are just, man. Those guys are idiots. Those guys are idiots. And again, I say they're the guys who, if they even took a hard jab in a sparring session, they'd be like, no, fuck this. I'm not fighting. Fuck this shit. Big up to Nick again. 44 in the chat. Smash the like button if you're on the way in. 68 in the chat now, bro. We growing every single time. If you could smash the like button, I'd really appreciate that, lads. Just saying, it does help the channel out. So if you could, it really be appreciated. Big up. The jab in slow motion looks so savage. Yeah, man. That jab's going to be a weapon for Joe Joyce moving forward. That jab is going to be a weapon moving forward. Wasn't happy with the commentary either. They had Dubois up personally. I had Joyce up 7-4-3. Now, what I will say is, right, I obviously thought this fight I had Joyce ahead, definitely. I can't comment on the commentary team from last night because I watched it this morning, but I was watching it with the sound off because I just wanted to score. And when I was watching it last night, yeah, I was watching a room full of lads, so I wasn't listening to the commentary team too much, to be honest with you. If Dubois was concerned about his eye, he might need to have an intelligent decision that says it's correct. Exactly. I mean, we don't know. He's going to go and get checked out this week, they say. He's going to go and get checked out this week. I'm going to try the camera again. Let's just see how that goes this time. But yeah, he's going to get checked out this week. And God only knows, like, those can end up pretty damn bad if they're not, like, looked at. They might not end well. All right, the camera looks okay. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to keep it with that. Joe Joyce won the fight off 1 point. He didn't even have to step up a gear. I think that's going to be something that Dubois, it's going to probably trouble Dubois. It's probably going to trouble Frank Warren as well, is that Joe Joyce didn't really need to go through the gears at all in this fight. He didn't need to throw power shots. And you wonder if Joe Joyce really had started, really going for it and throwing power shots and loading up with power shots, exactly how quickly could he have got Dubois out of there? That's what I'm thinking. But no, big up to Joe Joyce, man. You know what? It's the way BT Sport were just kind of shitting on him and everything. Like, he definitely did. He definitely proved a lot of people. He didn't even need to go through the gears. It was, I think Hatman said it. It was like man against boy in there. And that's exactly what it was like. It was just like man against boy. It's just like me against all the, it's just like me against the world. It's like, yeah, the G against the boys. That's what it's like. If Joshua doesn't vacate the belt, who would Joe Joyce be fighting? Who would Joe fight? Well, if Joshua vacates, he'll have to fight Usyk. They'll have to, because I'm sure, unless they decide to, and I'd imagine they wouldn't, unless they decide to give Parker back the number 2 ranking with the WBO, I'd imagine that Joyce will move up into number 2 in the rankings, and therefore he'll be, if AJ vacates, he'll be basically told to fight Usyk. So we get a rematch of the WSB fight, which as I said earlier, I think Joyce has improved, certainly, but has he improved enough to be able to, because it's hard to get much worse. Pretty much Usyk did everything but stop him in that World Boxing Super Series fight. And I watched that fight back a few times. Usyk did everything but stop Joe Joyce in that fight. He beat the crap out of him. Richie Woodhall is so biased. Yeah, no, I know Woodhall. Woodhall's not a bad commentator, to be fair, but he can be very biased sometimes. I'll give you that. Oh, lads, I can't tell you how much the water is needed. Seriously. Oh, I can't tell you how much the water is needed. You're right, Big Dan. Big up to Big Dan. DD was clearly distraught at the end of the ninth corner. His eye were grim. Yeah, one thing I noticed is corners. Yeah, they should have pulled him out. They really should have. But as I've always said, the last thing you need is a brave corner, a la Joe Gallagher, But no, you could tell even in the earlier rounds, you could tell who the more relaxed corner was. You'd look at the Joe Joyce corner and you'd be just like, they know it. They know it. You look at the Dubois corner and it's just like, ooh, what's happening here? What's happening here? And yeah, I think that Shane McGuigan or Ben Davison might be good fits for Daniel Dubois if he decides it. Nick, you had a shocker in the league overall this week. I haven't really checked mine too much. I had what's the guy's name? Yoker. I had Yoker to stop Christian Hammer. That didn't go too well. Thought that fight was a stinker. Oh boy. Oh, that fight was a stinker, lads. Jesus Christ. Yoka versus Hammer. Now, that was a stinker. Jesus Christ. Oh. Everyone makes a big deal of the pain, but these guys can take that. I think he felt something moving around and he decided it was risking too much for one fight. Yeah, well, I'd say there was a lot more than that. I'd say knowing that eye was the way it was and knowing that but like this, you could lose your license over stuff like that in terms of if the eye is that bad or if your vision gets blurred or stuff like that. I mean, remember Oscar Rivas, I think, said that he struggled for years to get a license to fight in the States because he had really, really bad vision. I think he needs contacts or something like that, but he struggled. They wouldn't give him a license. One of the Charlos has bad vision. I think it's Jamal Charlo, the bigger one, the one at middleweight. I think he's got really bad vision, apparently. In hindsight, it's amazing people didn't make more of. You know what, Ben? You're right. I think that was the thing with all of us, is that it was only really I kind of, ever since that was first announced, I was going with Dubois. But then I kind of stopped and thought to myself, hang on a second, I've looked at Joe Joyce before, but I look at a few of his other fights, look at a few of his amateur fights. I'm looking at him and I'm just thinking, oh shit. Literally, as soon as I recorded and released that prediction video, I started looking at a lot of Joe Joyce's fights. I remember thinking, oh shit. I was like, oh no, what? And then by the time that was 2 days after, and the video already had nearly 1,000 views. And I was like, oh, I can't. I was like, I can't go back on that, because the minute I done it, I started thinking of everything and started really assessing it. I was like, oh no, what have I done? I was like, why did I pick Dubois? And then I was like, because I've said it before, I'm someone where I don't like going back on predictions unless I have a really, really, really good reason to. I never picked Andy Ruiz to beat Anthony Joshua, but for argument's sake, say I did, and I saw the weigh-in, then I would have made a video saying, "Oh, I'm changing my mind." But obviously, I picked AJ always to beat Ruiz in the rematch. But something like that. But when I've made a video, made a prediction, I'm kind of well, I don't really want to go back. But with Joyce, I was just I just felt it so strong. A bit like when Dylan White fought Povetkin, and I was saying that look, Dylan White should win. But I just had that feeling, I just had that feeling that Povetkin was going to win. And I don't know why. And I just kept feeling it. I was like, I got to go back on this. I got to go back on this. Joe reminds me of Vitaly Klitschko. Yeah, I could see the heavy-handedness as well as something. Because I know Vitaly was never the biggest one-punch knockout puncher. But he was kind of, yeah, no, I get it. He was never the biggest one-punch knockout puncher, but he had just that heavy hand, good chin, and great fundamentals as well, Vitaly Klitschko as well. Great fighter, Vitaly Klitschko. Really great fighter. And if he was around today, good luck to anyone. Joe Joyce's chin shocked me. He was taking them and Joe Joyce has a chin, man. That's what you call a heavyweight chin. Joe Joyce's Dubois was gasped in the 5th round. I think mental fatigue as well. I don't think it was necessarily him tired of the fight necessarily. I think mental fatigue as well played a big factor in it. I really do. I think a lot of mental fatigue went on in there. Joe Joyce has fantastic punch resistance, not a mark on him after the fight. Yeah, yeah. Like, look at the faces of the two guys. And Joe Joyce did take shots in there. He did. But little bit of swell, not even swell, little bit of like scratches and stuff like that there. But that was it, really. It's crazy, Dubois. It's crazy because if Dubois' corner had stopped it, his stock wouldn't fall half as much. No, some foresight from Bowers. Exactly. You know, you're exactly right there. You know, I mean, that's what we have the corners there for. You know, that is why we have the corners to, you know, save the fighter. The fighter's is in there taking too much. I mean, at the end of the day, now moving forward for Dubois, that's going to be a stigma that's going to get attached with him because they're going to be like, oh, you know, he quit against Dubois or he quit against Joyce, he quit against this. It's just, you know, the way it is. That, you know, the way it is, like, and that's going to make fighters going into to fight him now. Like, say for argument's sake, he fought Nathan Gorman again. Although Nathan Gorman seems like his confidence got shot by the loss, seeing Dubois quit like that, and Nathan Gorman didn't quit, he got knocked out. But that's going to make him really. That would make someone like him think, you know what? I'm in there. I'm in there. Joe Joyce is a great athlete. He gets far despite his age. I think he will. I think Joe Joyce will. I think Joe Joyce is fantastic. He really is. You know, and you go back and look at some of my early videos, like really, 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 really early videos I done on this channel. I was always picking up Joe Joyce a lot. Yeah, I've always, for some reason, it's just like I was saying that to I was saying to the lads last night because the lads were all saying to me they didn't know which fighter was which. They were like, the guy in the white trunks, he looks terrible. He looks like this. I'm like, no. That's the way he fights. I was like, that's the way he's always. That's since the amateurs. He's fought like that. So when I see him like that, I'm not thinking this guy looks terrible. I'm thinking that's Joe Joyce. That's just the way he is. You know. And as Robbie said, he'd like to see a Yoka versus Joyce rematch. Joyce would be the firm favorite. You know, they both fought the weekend. We know who was the more impressive. Over the course of 12 rounds, be interesting. Be definitely interesting. Imagine having a broken eye socket and getting hit by I don't want to. I don't want to imagine that, lad. Graham, I don't want to imagine that. Usyk has improved too. It would be interesting. It'd be a very good fight, man. It'd be an excellent fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it. And Joyce, he was the one who called him out. So fair play to Joe Joyce. He'd take that. I know he would. I think Joe Joyce has one more fight with Fish Eyes, and after that, he must go to Eddie Hearn. Yeah. Oh man, I missed a few comments, but I'm just saying. Look, how pissed off was Warren? Warren was sick. Do you know what? Warren was sick. It's like he was looking at that fight, thinking, do you know what? It's like being a teacher in school. It's like being a teacher in school. You have two students that you like, you know, and one of them's going to win, and you want that student to win, and the other one goes and wins. And the teacher is just like, you fucker. You could tell that was what Warren wanted to do. He was just like, you fucking wanker. You fucker. How dare you beat my golden boy? That's what Warren was like. You were over on Ade's stream, but switched over to hashtag Gman's Rocks. Yeah, big up to Ade. I was locked into his stream for a little bit as well. Big up to him. I'm glad he's finally getting the stream going. He sees how much fun I'm having because I love doing these streams. Man, these streams are the best thing about this channel. I love doing these. If I 2 a week, and if I had more time, believe you me, I'd do a lot more. But 2 a week for now. G-Man's Rocks drinking water straight from a cooler tank. Yeah, bro. Every time I go live, I got to make sure, body first is what it's called, 2.5 liters. I make sure to empty the contents of that. And I need to stay hydrated because I don't normally drink a lot, but I had a lot. Well, not a lot, but I drank a good bit last night. And fuck, man, I don't like drinking I don't like drinking to get drunk. If I have a drink, I like drinking because it's just to chill, you know? Yeah, now, big up G-Man, big up everyone. Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Oh, Safety in F1 so much better now. Cars used to fly like coffins. You saw Senna die. I was only a baby when Senna died. But yeah, man, that was a scary, scary crash in F1 today. Jesus. Big up to Romain Grosjean. He walked away from that. Honestly, when I saw that crash live, that's the first time I've ever looked at a crash and thought he has to be dead. I couldn't believe it. Big up to Romain Grosjean. Big up to the fire marshals. Joe seems to fight unorthodox with his own beat. Yeah, Joe can come forward and maraud forward, but definitely, he can box and move a jab when he wants to. Definitely, he can box when he wants to. Dubois, I agree. Dubois does still have a good career ahead of him. I'd still pick Dubois over Huey Fury. Still, right now, if they announced Dubois versus Huey Fury, I'd be like, Dubois. Yep. Who should Joe fight next, US wise? I was going to say something, but I was going to say something there. Maybe I shouldn't. I was going to say maybe if he wants to fight someone dangerous, who's undefeated, who has a ranking, maybe look no further than one Christopher Lovejoy. 19-0 with 19 knockouts. There you go. Maybe. Just like Yard, Dubois. You know what, right? That's very true. Although with Yard, it was a way higher level. No offense to Joe Joyce, but Kovalev was an established world champion. They really are. They're fast tracking these guys. You know, they're fast tracking them. And with Yard, you feel like he needed an extra couple of step up fights. I feel the same about Dubois. You know, fighting Fujimoto, fighting Schneiders, and fighting Tete. That's not going to get you anywhere near ready for fighting the Joe Joyce. You know, even a Marius Vac would have been sufficient enough preparation. Marius Vac would have been very good preparation for Joe Joyce. Very good. But instead, he fought fucking Fujimoto, the Japanese heavyweight. Jesus, people. He made more tune-up fights. Marius Vac could be a good opponent for him. He just did it for Dubois. He did go for it. Oh, I thought he did it for him. Yeah, no, he did try. No, he did. Mate, I like Joe Joyce. Or mate, I like AJ Joyce. AJ Joyce is a good fight. AJ is a good fight. Parker, no, Joe Parker. I was wondering, yeah, when you said Whitaker. Parker versus Joyce. Oh boy. I don't know. I think I give it to Joyce probably. I just don't know how Parker would be able to get around. I don't know how he'd be able to get around that physicality because Parker's not a very physical guy himself. I just don't know how he'd do it. We got Neil in here. G-Man's Rocks. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Some judge had it. Yeah. Well, it's like I said in my prediction video. I said, look, even if Dubois is losing this fight, he'll be ahead on some of the scorecards. They were BT Sport, Frank Warren. They all want Daniel Dubois to win, and I had a feeling I wasn't surprised when I seen. I had a feeling they'd have him wide on a scorecard or two. I did. That I reckon if that fight gets marketed well, that fight would do very well. That'd do very good numbers because you're talking about Olympic silver medalist versus Olympic gold medalist. What Nick said there, he thinks Joe will be avoided now. I could see that happening. Do you know that? I actually could see that happening with Joe Joyce, that they could avoid him. See people avoiding him. Absolutely no head movement. His corner was useless. Yeah. He needs a new corner, man. Shea McGuigan, Ben Davison, or who else? Who else would I think of? Shea McGuigan, Ben Davison. They'd be the kind of two main guys. Maybe Dave Caldwell. Dave Caldwell's not a bad coach, actually. Dave Caldwell's not a bad coach. Who's the WBO mandatory? Usyk is. Same judge who scored it for Dubois also had a close decision for Nate Robinson. I mean, these judges, man. If that was Terry O'Connor, I wouldn't even be surprised, to be honest with you. Do you know that? I wouldn't even be surprised. If Terry O'Connor was scoring for that fight, then I wouldn't. A scorecard like that wouldn't even remotely shock me. Jesus, man, I'm missing so many questions. Big up to 63 in the chat. 67 now, bro. Smash the like button again. Appreciate that. Oh, I like that one there. I think Rob McCracken would be a good fit for Dubois. You know, I did think of Rob McCracken as well, but I don't know. There's certain things about McCracken I don't necessarily know will translate over. Shane McGuigan would be good. He always gets his fighters using their jab. Dubois has not. He's got a decent jab. McGuigan for yeah, I think Shane McGuigan would do a good job. Or Coach Azair. Coach Azair, big up the Coach Azair every time. He's a cool guy. He's reached out to me on Twitter, actually. He's a cool guy. Or Ben Davison. As I said, Ben Davison, he's got a history with heavyweights. We know that. So Ben Davison might do actually a good job. And I saw that Mark was doing a live broadcast last night. I didn't actually watch it, but yeah, the consensus was close. No, it was. But no, I felt that. Of course, I felt that Joyce was winning. It was a shrewd move by Joe Joyce bringing in Jimmy Tibbs. Yeah, well, Ishmael Salas couldn't be there for obvious reasons, silly reasons, but he couldn't be there. They should go with Don Charles. I'm sure Don Charles himself would even tell you not to know. Who is Don Charles training these days? He's training his son. I think is that it? Is that all that Don Charles trains? The reason Joe Joyce is effective are A, his chin, and B, he judges distance very well. Yeah, he does. Very good. Well, Joe Joyce, like as I said, as clunky as he looks, he really is. Like he really does. What's the word you'd use? What is the word you'd use? It's someone who she does from the outset. He doesn't look like he'd go that far or do that much, but then when you see him in there and actually doing things, you're just like, yep, this guy is good. Joe Joyce jab is like getting. That's what I've been saying. It might not be. Might not be the quickest, but when he hits you, they're feeling it. You're feeling it. Hearn must have been loving the results last night. He's going to sign Joe Joyce. Oh yeah, I'd say Eddie Hearn was looking at that with just the biggest smile on his face ever. I think that Eddie Hearn was looking at that thinking, you know what? I'm beating Warren. I'm not even having to do anything. And yeah, he'd be straight in there trying to swoop up Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce has fought on Matchroom shows before. I remember he fought on the Bellew Hay undercard when he fought Lenroy Thomas. So he's experienced there with Hearn. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. How long should Dubois we build for? I think at least 2 to 3 years, gradually away from the limelight. There is no point trying to move him where level as all the belts be tied up. The absolute best thing about Dubois is that he's young. He's 23 years old, and for a heavyweight, that's a baby. He has plenty of time to reassess things. He's plenty of time to reassess the situation. Maybe you're right. Maybe 2 years of just gradually rebuilding, and we should see him good to go, hopefully. But then again, as Ben says there, Brook never fully recovered from the eye socket injury he suffered against GGG, which is correct. He didn't, and that's going to be a worry moving forward. It will be a worry moving forward because you're just thinking to yourself, you're like, shit, what happens if that happens again? Okay, massive fight coming to Smash pay-per-view records. Oh, yay, Billy Joe versus Martin Murray. I'm covering the fight, obviously, but I'm not exactly optimistic about it, to be fair, but we'll see how that goes. You never know. But I think we're all picking Billy Joe on points in that fight. I know I certainly am. I'm pretty sure the majority of people will be as well. Some tasty matchups coming the next month. Who do you got? Spence Garcia Campbell. Who do you got? I've got Errol Spence on points against Danny Garcia, and I've got Ryan Garcia with a late stoppage over Luke Campbell. I think that Garcia is going to be in a fight. Ryan Garcia is going to be in a fight with Luke Campbell. He's going to be in a fight. And those little mistakes he makes, like boring in with his chin way up in the air, he's going to have issues with that early on. But I think his youth, his hand speed, his punching power, it's going to see him through. I think he'll stop Luke Campbell. Do you think Juggernaut Joyce is a threat to AJ Style? I'm inclined to think AJ stamina issues, but yeah, exactly. I think that could really be an issue. Seriously, I've always, like, if you go back and look at some of my videos I've done on Joe Joyce as far back as like early 2019, I've always said he's a very, very good fighter. Very good fighter. If he can take AJ's power and put it on him, AJ's in for a tough time. And let's be fair, he hits harder than Ruiz. I think that's a fair assessment to say that Joe Joyce hits harder than Ruiz. Good win for Joe, but let's not pretend it was an easy fight for him. He took some good shots that would have stopped other heavyweights. Yeah, but Joe Joyce's chin is made of something strong. Very strong, very good chin. James Rocks, there was no doctor on site to step in and take it out of Dubois' hands. I'm surprised about that, actually, because normally the doctors are in there pretty quick to have a look, especially when an eye like that is closing. Usyk will fight Parker, quite possibly. I know it's an easier fight for Eddie Hearn to put on because it's in-house, quite possibly. But Joe Joyce did call for Usyk. I like that fight, man. I'd be interested to see how far Joyce has come and how far Usyk's come. Joyce, Usyk, Hrgovic, and Joker, all real top 10 fighters based on skill, talent. All extremely, extremely good fighters. You know, rate them all. Rate them all. Yoka was just a bit boring the weekend, but I'm not. I don't look at a boring fight and think, oh, he's shit. I just look at a boring fight and think, okay, he needs to improve. He needs to improve. In the wrong division to have a glass. Yeah, he is. You don't want to be having bad eyes or anything like that when you're in the heavyweight division with these punchers. Certainly not. I had the exact same. I picked round 7 as well. I honestly did. Wonder if Heyman is regretting letting Joyce go. Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure Eddie Hearn is going to be swooping in there. You know, he is going to be swooping in there. Be like those guys on Tinder, you know, when they break up with their missus, they are swooping in there trying to pick anything. Did I see Ndongo quit in 2 rounds against Yulusinov? Yes, I did actually. I did watch that fight. I watched it Saturday morning. He bailed out after the 2 knockdowns. His career looks done. He seemed to just say, I don't have it anymore. Yeah, I seen it. I watched the full fight on Saturday morning, and that's exactly what I thought. Exactly what you said there. He just didn't seem to have it. Just seems like it just seems like the Crawford fight damaged him. I mean, remember Ndongo, right? He was riding the quest of a wave of success because he went over to Russia, and at the time he was undefeated, and he fought. What was the guy's name he fought? Troyanovsky, the big puncher. Troyanovsky. He fought him, and he knocked him out in like 20 seconds, literally, and it was a bad knockout too. And then he goes and he beats Ricky Burns comfortably. I mean, he done a better job on Ricky Burns than Crawford did. So he was riding the quest of a wave, and then he went in against Crawford. People were giving him a chance, not to win, but to give Crawford a tough fight, and he gets blasted out. I mean, that must have knocked the confidence straight out of him. Listen to Joe Joyce's mother. She cursed. Do you know what, right? You're 100% on right there. I actually did say that is what you call a cruel irony. You know, he kind of mocked Dubois' mother for her sight. And yeah, that's what you call a cruel irony there. I've seen many cruel ironies. I've been on the fucking receiving end of cruel ironies before. I know how bad they are. Nothing that I did or said, by the way, in terms of like anything bad or anything like that. But yeah. I've had fucking the old cruel irony come back and bite me in the ass sometimes. In fact, only recently, I've had the old cruel irony bite me in the ass. But sure, look, I'm not as bad as that. I mean, that was fuck. Don't think. Yeah, it was Richard Schaefer. It was. Get your popcorn ready. Big up to Jeff. The white dude that Jack fought was tough as nails. I know. Jack Cattrall. That I was surprised. I think I had Jack Cattrall down to stop him, but he didn't, unfortunately. That my prediction league was absolutely destroyed this week. It was fucked. Hello, G. Big up to Byron. Lads. Nick, salute. Big up to you. Yeah. Big Sam Jones totally exposed Frank Warren's bias in the boxing talk table. Yeah, man. Big up to Sam Jones, man. Big up to Sam Jones every single time. Lads, you're going to want to bear with me there for a few seconds. Y'all know what it is. I've got the fire on. Yes. Yeah, it's not a G-Man live stream if I don't have to turn the fire off. It's not a G-Man live stream if I'm not turning the fire off. But yeah, 100%. I mean, Sam Jones, even Sam Jones was, you could tell he was getting pissed off last year at how biased BT Sport were being towards him and towards not towards him, how biased they were being towards Dubois when they were live at some of them shows. Would love to see Chisora versus Joyce. Well, we nearly seen it 2 years ago, and Chisora priced himself out of it. And he was right to, because he ended up getting bigger paydays. And as far as I'm concerned, he would have lost to Joe Joyce even then. Just came here from Ade. Big up to Ade every time, man. Big up to Ade. I'm glad he's finally doing the live streams now. Big up to him. Yeah, I seen that. To be honest with you, I didn't really watch much of him last night. I seen the stoppage, but I really didn't see much after that. To be honest with you, man, I was with the lads last night, so we had a lot. We were talking about a lot of other things, but I was mainly interested in watching the Dubois fight. That was the one. Should have stopped that guy way earlier. Yeah, you could see the guy. Well, from what I could see, that guy was out of his depth. But you know, if you force a stoppage, they do say it'll never come. Big up to Billy. What's up, G man, fellas? Big up to you every time. Yeah, he could have taken that guy out, hit out any time. Be toy with him until the 10th. That's one thing I'd say. Whenever guys do that, like when they can stop them, but they just choose to prolong it. I remember what was the guy's name? Jorge Gonzalez. He used to do that. I remember, was it Ronaldo Snipes he fought or someone like that? Was it Pinklin Thomas or someone like that? He fought in his pro debut, and he just toyed with him, and he really could have stopped him. There's no need for. He carried him for like 10 rounds, and there's no need for that. Gee, you think AJ will vacate? Yeah, I think he will. If Usyk really digs his heels in, I reckon he probably will vacate. To be honest, if AJ really truly digs his heels in, I can see him vacating. Love seeing Joyce dismantle Dubois. Just deal with his rush. Like, they didn't phase him at all. Seemed too yeah. Joyce just seemed like, I've been here. I've done all this before. It's nothing to me. You're going to be like a fish out of water. And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. Warren had bubble guts. Frank Warren he must be sick. He must be sick. From what people, the way people talk boxing, Joyce sparring against the likes of could give them work. Yeah, I read that way too quick. Yeah, you could. Familiarity does breed content, but I reckon that they'll be definitely doing their best to try. Whoever's promoting Joe Joyce, whether it be Eddie Hearn, whether it be Frank Warren, they're gonna try and fast track him. Glenn says, "Did you decide on your next fighter profile video? You mean my WTF videos? That's what I call them. They're my WTF videos. Yes, I have decided on it. It's going to be out Christmas week. I'm just I don't script any of my videos, but I'm going to be doing my little bit of research just to make sure I have everything, fresh in the head on said fighter. And yeah, I'm going to give it to you guys Christmas week. And it is a current active fighter, but we'll leave it at that. I ain't going to spoil anything. Was your first time watching JoJo? He's a great chin. He could have KO'd Dubois earlier. Yeah, if he started throwing the big hard power shots early, I reckon he probably could have got him out of there, to be fair. He really could have got him out of there, to be fair. I really think Fury is way more vulnerable than people realize. Vlad was scared to let his hands go, and Wilder had zero boxing skills. Would be entertaining to see him. Yeah, I think if Vlad did kind of let his hands go on the 12th, you saw that he was having success with Fury then. Not much, but a little bit. But you're right. You're 100%. No fighter, as far as I'm concerned, is unbeatable. As far as I'm concerned, no fighter is unbeatable. They can all be beat, and I wouldn't be at all shocked to see Fury. I think he's the least likely to lose, but I think he can definitely lose. Definitely. Oh, I doubt it very much. I don't think any heavyweight's chin. I don't think Marius Wax's chin, any chin, will hold up to Wilder's power. He just hits that goddamn hard. If no Usyk fight, should he fight? If no Usyk Joyce fight, should he fight the winner of Povetkin versus White? I'd love that. I'd pick him over either of them. Don't really like Usyk for Joe Joyce. No, it's a rematch. And yeah, based on how one-sided the first one was, you couldn't imagine it would be any different. But you never know. You never know. I still wouldn't mind seeing it, to be honest. Babbitt versus Gassiev. I'd give that to Gassiev. Yeah, no, I'd give that fight to Gassiev, definitely. I think Gassiev can counter punch a bit. He can. I think he'd. I think those left hooks would light Babbage up. It'd be two cruiserweights. Well, Gassiev's more a heavyweight now, to be fair. He's definitely grown into heavyweight. Love to see you if Fury get knocked out to Mars. Oh, I think a lot of people would. Marius Wack almost killed Dylan White in the ring. Nah, Marius Wack. that was the most fired up I've seen Whack. Yeah, but that was probably the worst I've ever seen Dana White look in terms of the shape he was in. Like to see Hrgovic Joe versus Joe. Mm. That'd be an interesting one. They did. Like, Joe beat Hrgovic in the amateurs. I know that. Fisheye has made it seem like AJ isn't vacating the WBO and IFLW. They seem really will be forced to fight Wilder. I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that that is, yeah, that to me is kind of, I've resigned myself to kind of that fight happening now, to be honest with you. I really have. I've kind of resigned myself to that we're probably going to see Fury versus Joy or Fury versus Wilder next. Unfortunately, I don't particularly want to, but I've resigned myself to it. Deceptively effective sums up Joyce. He made a believer out of me. I think that's the best way you can describe him. He's deceptively effective. He doesn't look like he'd be effective, but he is. And yeah, I think that is probably how I would say Joe Joyce is as well. Lads, we got 78 people in the chat. If you could smash the like button, lads, I'd really, really, really appreciate that. Big up to everyone in the chat, lads. Big up to everyone. Would like to see Joe Joyce fight Del Boy. Yeah, look, you could have seen that fight 2 years ago. I reckon that they probably will try and eventually get that fight made. I mean, if put it like this, right? If Joe Joyce signs a matchroom, 100%, they're putting that on the pay-per-view on the card. 100%, they're definitely going to try and do that. Oh, fish eyes must be good at the. Oh, yeah. Oh man, yeah, that 5-year deal, man. I think both parties are regretting that. You live in West London, you've seen Joe Joyce out and about. The guy is a giant, real big presence. Really knows about last night. Yeah. Quite quick. Yeah, I've never met Joe Joyce, but I'd imagine he is an absolute. I'd imagine he's an absolute giant of a guy. Just the sheer size and the volume and the mass of him. I'd imagine he's huge. How did Martin Murray get the fight with Billy Joe Saunders? Didn't think he was ranked. Honestly, I didn't think either, Nick. I was amazed. He fought one 8-rounder. I think he fought a 10-rounder, and they were no hopers on MTK show. So I don't even know how we got that. I don't even know how we got the fight. I didn't even think he was ranked. The zone coming to the UK next week. Is it coming to Ireland at the same time? Or are you signing up? As far as I know, it is. As far as I know, it's coming to Ireland at the same time. And yeah, I'll be buying it 100%. It'd be probably about £3 over here, but I'll buy it definitely. How the hell was Dubois rated at number 2? Ask Frank Warren that. That's how Dubois was rated at number 2. That's exactly how Dubois. I don't know how he was, but that's it. What? Really? Ranked number 12. See, this is the bullshit that goes on with these sanctioning bodies. They don't fight any guys. Can just go and not fight anyone. They want a title shot, and then all of a sudden they find themselves into the rankings. It's crazy. That is. I can't believe that. Good choices. Oh no, I think I already answered that, and I said no, I doubt it. The choice was great for boxing when they had the city list in LA. Oh man, and that Tyson fight was shocking. Didn't like it at all. Thought it was absolute bullshit. He's 37, not 33. Who we talking about? Joyce. Joyce is definitely 35. Billy Joe Saunders' career has been shit for. Oh, it has. It's been terrible. It's been terrible. And yeah, he is still living off that Lemieux win. 100% he is. Yo, JP, yo, G-Man, big up to you, man, every single time. Dubois quit, but it was the right choice. I agree. I think it was the right choice. Don't underestimate the importance. Fuck Tinder. I can't get into. I don't like Tinder. And I'm not even at this minute in time, man, and probably for the foreseeable future. I'm just that whole thing is just gone. You know, ain't no. Yeah, that whole kind of area is just it's gonzo. So he's leaving it. But I never get into Tinder anyway. As a part of analysis, how much better are Frampton and Hay when Hay is not being the Chisora hype man? Then oh yeah, man, those guys are much better. I mean, those other two were just 100% company man, 100% company man out and out. At least with the two of them, at least with Frampton and Hay, when it's not Chisora, yeah, they're very good. Frampton is very good. Frampton's a good analyst. I'll give him that. Wonder why George Groves hasn't been on this guy. Well, probably because he's not a full matchroom fighter, to be fair. Maybe because he's not as biased. I'm serious. It seems like that's all you need to do to work for Sky is be 100% biased and you're good to go. A big up to the Troll Network every time. Big up. Glad you're here, man. Every time. Big up to you. What do you miss most about recent fighters, G-Man? Do you miss George Groves' entrance alone with great viewing? Yeah, no, honestly, I do actually. I miss George Groves' entrance. They were fun. I used to like his entrance. What was it? Spitfire. We used to go out to. Yeah, they always got you hyped. Ben Davison is defensively minded coach would suit Dubois. Yeah, Ben Davison's not a bad shout, lad. Ben Davison ain't a bad shout. Dubois needs to have some soul searching to what he wants to do in life and see how far he wants to go. Yeah, he's going to need to take a few years, definitely. 100% he's going to need to take a few years. 100%. 100% he's going to need a few years to just dust off the cobwebs, regroup, get back to where he needs to, and he can come again. He's young enough that he can come again. He's got youth on his side, which he's lucky with. Groves' entrance was the best. Yeah, it was. Dave Allen sleeps Dubois. I don't even think they tell you that. I don't even think Dave Allen will tell you that. I think Dave Allen, that'll be a fight that Warren would look at making. Will be Dave Allen versus Joe Joyce. Or not Joe Joyce versus Dubois. Because it's a name, it's a win. And even though he's retired, you flash a couple of numbers in front of him and then he'll take that fight. In my opinion, anyway, he'll take that fight. I already read that. Where we go. What's this say? Why you gotta lie to your fans, dude? Who have I lied to? Who have I lied to? BT Sport coming like Sky Sports commentary. I hope not. BT Sport can be biased, but Sky are just in a different league. Or they're in a different stratosphere. There you go. Shades of shit. Shades of Ali. Shades of Ali. Joyce will find it hard against a mover like Fury. He will, but Huey Fury, he does barely enough to nick the rounds. Barely enough. That's why he did it. He could have beat Parker. Parker was for the taking that night. You can download the zone now. I might actually just download it after I finish up here then. Because I'll definitely be getting the zone when it comes. G-Man, you hear of any Mick Constantine music? He's Irish. Honestly, I'd never heard of him. You might have to enlighten me on that. I've never heard of the guy. Who do I favor, Ramirez versus Taylor? Josh Taylor, definitely. Ramirez is a good fighter, and he does when he's fighting the best opponent, he brings his A game. But I definitely think that I think Taylor would have too much for him. Dubois will be back. He knows where he has to work. One defeat is the best teacher. Yeah, 5 years. He could be world champion for 5 years, and he'd be only 28 then. So still young lad, still young man. You really don't want to see Chisora fight Joyce. You reckon Dubois would batter and stop him? Yeah. Parker is a good fight. I'd like to see that too. Actually, I really would. I really would like to see that fight myself. I really would. We'll ask Ben Davison for a laugh. Would he train Dubois? Yeah. I'd love to ask Ben Davison that. Would he train Dubois? You never know, man. Not trying to be rude, but as tints of autism. You think so? I'm unsure he can produce the grittiness mentally. We'll have to wait and see, man. I wouldn't say that, man. But he is he's a hard character to rate. Is Daniel Dubois, definitely. Huey Fury versus Joe Joyce would be great. I don't know about that. You heard the rumor that Fabio Wardley is really? Jesus, I didn't know that. Apparently he's one of those guys who gets aroused the harder the fight he fights, it makes him stronger. Oh, I don't know if that's troll or what, but Fabio Wardley, I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know. That's the first I've heard of it, definitely. Dubois needs someone like Buddy McGurk. Buddy McGurk would be good, but the only thing I would say is McGurk would be based in the US, and I get the impression Dubois is a real home bird and he wouldn't want to travel. I just get that impression from Warren losing his touch and protecting his prospects. Yeah, well, he put Yard in with Kovalev. Kovalev, no. And now he's gone and done this. It's interesting. It's interesting that he's putting his prospects in so soon. I mean, next thing it'd be Dennis McCann or someone like that. He'll have him in there way before he needs to. G-Man, have you seen Man About a Dog film? Yeah, years ago, man. years ago, many years ago, I seen Man About a Dog. But no, it's known, and there's a lot of Irish films that I seen when I was younger, but I haven't said there's not many that I'd still watch really. I don't watch a lot of I do watch a lot of movies, but I don't watch a lot of Irish movies and stuff like that. It wouldn't really be kind of something. It wouldn't really be something that I do. It wouldn't really be. They wouldn't be kind of my kind of genre of movies, if you know what I mean. Like I like other things, and yeah, I wouldn't really be watching that. Is McCann the best undefeated prospect right now? Do I reckon? Yeah, yeah. No, I probably would say that he is probably the best undefeated prospect. Like I've been so impressed with what I've seen from McCann. It's been crazy. I think he's a very, 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 very good shout as a prospect. I think he's going places. I really do, and I like the fact like he's fighting. I think is he bantam or super bantam. He has plenty of time to do a lot of filling out. I think that he is. I think he's a good shout, very good shout. I hope that he doesn't end up getting pushed too soon because he's only 18, 19. I think he's already married, which is crazy. Um, Frank the Reptilian. All Frank the Reptilian cares about is the money in his bank account. At this stage, yeah. But I suppose he does have that fire. He wants to one up Eddie Hearn and Matchroom by any means necessary. That's what Fish Eyes wants. He cares about his bank account, but he also cares about big and one up in Frank Warren or one up in Eddie Hearn. I can tell you that now. That looks to me like what he's trying to do. That he's trying to big up. He's trying to get one over on Eddie Hearn by any stretch of the imagination. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Lads, before I read that one, who cares about Frank not protecting his fighter? It means we get fights. So yeah, no. I thought a fight would be a bit more of a barn burner than it was, though, to be fair. I did. But lads, what I'm gonna do is we've been at this for a little over an hour now, right? I'm fucking tired. I'm just gonna I'm absolutely fucking knackered. I didn't get home until like fucking very late last night. So lads, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this stream here. I'm gonna call it quits here. Probably Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll do another one. Probably Wednesday because the gym's be back open then, and I can kind of work my day around it. So lads, I'm gonna leave it here. I want to big up to all you guys in the chat. 73 still in the chat. I hope that, as Nick says there, 73 in the chat. Smash the like button on the way out. Big up to all you guys. And big up to Nick. Big up to Devon. Big up to Helen. Big up to all these guys. Troll Network. Cash Johnny. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. All that good stuff. You got to love the whole hashtag G-Man's Rocks movement. In fact, before I go, lads, as always, some things will come and go. Right? Things will come and go. But that ain't going nowhere. That ain't going nowhere. But big up to all you guys in the chat. As I said, big up to Brian or Byron. Big up to Nick every single time. Peace to everyone. Big up to Tony. Lads, I'll talk to you all. Well, you'll see me. I got a video planned for tomorrow anyway, right? So you'll see me at some stage tomorrow in a video. But in terms of live streams, probably Wednesday. Wednesday. In fact, I pretty much guarantee it'll be on Wednesday. So I'll see you. Big up to Joe. Take care. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. Lads, I'll talk to you. For now, I'm going to try and rest. I'm going to rest. But I'll talk to you all in the live stream Wednesday. Big up to all you guys. Peace, lads. Enjoy your evening.